Summer is chock full of FOMO and distractions for us ADHD mom business owners. It's like all that structure and routine that helped us to feel productive and like we're making progress just vanishes in an instant and is replaced by sunshine and fun and pool and beaches and vacations. And look, I like fun. In fact, I probably like fun a bit too much, but I also realized fairly early on in my life as an entrepreneur that my business growth would stop or start to backslide if I focused too much on fun during the summer. So if you are looking to minimize distractions so that you can get things done on your work or home to-do list while still making plenty of time for fun and memories with your family this summer, stay tuned for today's episode of The ADHD Mompreneur. But before we frolic into today's topic, I would like to take just a minute to introduce myself in case you are new here. My name is Christy Lingo, and I am an executive function and accountability coach for ADHD mom business owners. I started my coaching business in 2019 after spending over a decade running my first business and working with ADHD populations as a professional organizer. I am also diagnosed with combined type ADHD and am the parent of a child with an ADHD diagnosis. So let's just say I pretty much eat, sleep, and breathe ADHD. If you would like to learn more about me and how my coaching programs may be able to help and support you, be sure to stop by my website, theadhdmompreneur.com. And while you're there, pick up my free essential checklist for ADHD mompreneurs to help you remember all the steps and where you left off during those mundane but necessary tasks we face as small business owners. So be sure to stop by the ADHD Mompreneur to check out my programs and pick up your free checklist today. Have you ever found yourself stuck in a scroll hole and looked at the clock wondering where the past hour went? Maybe you suddenly realized that you spent the last hour cleaning the kitchen when there was an important email response that you needed to be writing. Or perhaps you pick up an item to put it away in your closet only to find yourself completely reorganizing it because you thought, this will only take a minute. Distractions come in all sorts of shapes, sizes, and varieties, and they can easily become black holes for our attention, especially those of us with ADHD. So many of us ADHD mom business owners struggle to protect our attention and create boundaries around all those little distractions that love to hijack our time and our energy and our focus. That's why I wanted to share some strategies about creating boundaries and protecting your energy and focus, not to restrict you, but to effectively use your time, your energy, and your brain so that you can continue to progress on the goals that you have for yourself, your family, and your business. You see, us ADHDers are easily distracted because our brains love novelty and stimulation. We often jump from task to task, not because we're lazy or we don't want to actually finish something. It's because our brains are seeking stimulation. They're trying to feel better or get motivated. And sometimes checking your email, doing the dishes, or watching a YouTube video can seem a lot more rewarding than updating your QuickBooks. The fact that us ADHD mom entrepreneurs are also juggling all that comes with running a business and having a family probably doesn't help either. There's just so much noise going on in our homes, in our heads, and on our screens, which is why discussing boundaries is so important when it comes to managing distractions. Without boundaries, it's so easy to fall in the trap that you need to be everywhere, doing everything for everyone at all times, as opposed to focusing your energy on the task or project that is going to help you move closer to your goal. You may feel like you can't turn off notifications on your phone because the email you might get at 9 p.m. at night could just be the thing to take your business to the next level, and you want to make sure that you're there to respond. Or maybe you feel like you can't shut the door to the room where you are working so that you can focus or concentrate on a specific task because you need to be available to your kids at all times. But what if we reframed this thinking? Instead of, I have to make sure that I am available for all the things at all the times, we reframe to, I'm going to let people know my availability and my response times so that I can protect my time and use it more intentionally. Because when your energy is fragmented, your results will be too. But when you create clear but flexible boundaries that work with your ADHD and not against it, you can start to build strategies that minimize distractions and things may start to feel a bit more manageable. So let's dig into 4 ADHD-friendly strategies that can help you to create boundaries and limit the distractions that might be robbing you of the time, energy, or effort that you are putting into building your business or raising your family. First up, stop distractions before they start. Do you have a Pavlovian response to pick up your phone and check it when you get a notification? Maybe you've realized that it's much easier for you to type up an invoice or update your inventory when you don't have to listen to your kids arguing over who's going to eat the last bowl of Cocoa Puffs in the next room. There are quite a few steps that you can put in place to help you limit distractions. And while you might not be able to control all possible distractions at all times, there are quite a few steps that you can put in place to help to minimize how much they'll pull your focus. This is especially important when you're trying to do work or stay present with your family. Some easy ways to limit distractions would be shut off notifications for your phone or your computer. Use an app blocker or a focus app that prevents notifications or blocks you from accessing apps that might steal your focus. And I'll have suggestions for both Android and iPhone in the show notes below. Try wearing noise-canceling headphones and listening to white noise or gamma binaural beats. Close the door to the room where you're working while you're working. Move to a less distracting workspace, which could include going to a co-working space, a restaurant, or a coffee shop. And clear the clutter from your workspace so that you don't get distracted by it. Number 2, take a break. Yes, really. I know this might seem counterintuitive because we're talking about how a distraction might impact productivity, but sometimes the best way to reconnect with a priority is to walk away from it for a while. And I'm not saying that you have to deactivate all your accounts or cancel all your streaming services or go full digital detox. But I am saying it's okay and maybe even healthy to take a step back once in a while. It could look like setting up an autoresponder for your email so you don't feel compelled to reply to every message when it comes in, especially outside of normal work hours. Or maybe setting a limit for your daily scrolling and replace your usual scroll time with something to nurture your ADHD brain, like listening to music, taking a walk, reading a book, or spending time with your family. And something I used to do personally to limit distractions and squash a bit of the mom guilt I would feel while working at home when my kids were younger, play with your kids or read them a book before you start your work session. And if you're worried that taking a step back or limiting your social media may mean that you fall behind, remember, you're not a machine. And your audience isn't expecting perfection. They actually crave authenticity. And showing them that you care enough for yourself to take a break, what could be more authentic than that? A boundary break can help you come back feeling recharged with renewed energy and feeling more aligned. Not to mention, taking that boundary break can help you feel recharged and help you serve your clients with a renewed energy and better alignment. Number 3, create time blocks or limits. While hyper-focusing on redesigning the homepage for your website for 3 days might not sound like the traditional definition of a distraction, it does fit the bill if you think of a distraction as something that is stealing your attention from another important or priority task or project that you do need to be focusing on. And to be clear, hyperfocus isn't laziness or lack of discipline. It often means that you are seeking dopamine or that you are trying to avoid executive function overload. In other words, your ADHD has found its groove and it is determined to ride this efficient train all the way into the station, whether that is 5 minutes, 5 hours, or 5 days from now. So how can we keep hyperfocus from taking over and distracting us from other tasks and projects that need our attention? You could try creating a time block or a time limit for the specific activity if you know you tend to fall into a hyperfocus trap with that activity or those types of activities. For example, instead of a vague goal like, I need to do social media today, reframe it as, I will spend 30 minutes working on this week's social media posts today. Or instead of, I need to follow up on emails today, say, I will check and reply to emails for 10 minutes after lunch. And it's important for you to know, if you are new to the idea of time blocking, that it could take you a little bit of time to break the habit of hyperfocus if this has been an issue for you in the past. You might need to incorporate reminders or alarms to help you break the hyperfocus and start the transition into the next task or project on your list. You may even want to enlist an accountability buddy or a coach that can check in on you and say something like, hey, I know you wanted to work on reorganizing your closet today from 12 to 2. It's 2 o'clock. I wanted to see how your progress was going, but also see if you've found a good stopping point so that you can move on to the next task or project you wanted to work on. Remember, in this instance, the goal of time blocking isn't for you to be perfect at spending the exact right amount of time for the task you're trying to do right out of the gate. It's about creating awareness around which tasks or projects tend to suck you into a hyper-focus hole so that you can limit that distraction and make sure that all those priority tasks and projects on your list get a little bit of your time and energy. And finally, find some ADHD-friendly help. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should, or that you personally have to be the one to do the thing. But somehow, many of us ADHD mom business owners get stuck in the loop where we think we are the person who has to do all the business things, all the family things, and all the home things. It's no wonder our dopamine is shot and our executive function feels like it's hanging on by a thread. That is a lot to juggle. So if you find yourself in this boat, consider the places where you may be able to ask somebody in your home or hire somebody to help you out. They can take on the tasks that feel like a burden or that you feel like take too much of your time, so that you can spend more of your energy, effort, and executive function on your zone of genius. Asking others for help could look like asking your family to help out with age-appropriate chores, working with a content strategist to help you batch create or schedule content, use a grocery delivery service or click and pick up for your grocery shopping, hire a babysitter or ask one of your older children to watch their siblings so that you can have focused time to work on home or work projects. Join a co-working or body doubling group so they can help you make progress on the tasks that you're struggling to start. Hire a professional organizer so you can find things easily and limit distractions while you're looking. And as we wind down today's episode, I do want to remind you that your brain isn't broken. It's just really, really, really busy. Help out your brain by creating boundaries to clear some space and help you focus. Silence your notifications. Take a break from the apps or activities that might be stealing your time and energy. Set an alarm to help break your hyperfocus and help you transition to your next task. And ask for help so that you can save your energy and effort for the tasks that truly do require your specific expertise. I'm curious if you have any distraction busting tips to share that help you to stay focused and productive. Be sure to share what works for you in the comments below. And while you're down there, hit the like, follow, or subscribe button so you don't miss any of my upcoming episodes of the ADHD Mompreneur, like next time when we'll be talking about how to create a slow or low dopamine morning routine. Summer is a really great time to test out these new structures before next year's school year gets rolling. Until next time, keep making your ADHD journey part of your success story. If you're a business owning mom with ADHD, you're going to need to grab my free customizable essential checklists for ADHD mompreneurs by visiting bit.ly/checklists for ADHD mompreneurs or by following the link in the episode description. Do it now before you forget. Until next time,